So we're excited. This is going to be a really great session. This session is going to be about how to build out that Rockstar team in your agency. Because how many people in here, raise your hand if you have employees on your team? You have employees in your company. Yeah. And so it's always easy, right? Totally perfect, no problems. No, they're people. Shit's going to hit the fan all the time. But one thing that I love about Clodagh is that she gives a very real look at what it's like to have a Rockstar team. So please, all the way from Dublin, the loveliest person I know, please welcome Clodagh Higgins to the stage.
You are so lovely.
Thank you.
If I end up saying that a few times, you know why. Good morning, everyone. How are we? How are we feeling? We're feeling good. It's the last day. It's the last few talks. Mwah, DJ Sammy, I loved the music. We did talk about it earlier on. And I'm a trans fan. So welcome to this session. I am absolutely beyond thrilled to be here and a little starstruck to know that Gary Vee was on this stage yesterday as well. I absolutely love speaking on the last day of conferences. It's actually my favorite time slot. I've been here all week since Monday, and I've been able to sit in other people's sessions and weave through some of the things that you've heard from Yasmin, from Jeff Hunter, from Bob Ruffalo. And it's such a good thing because this deck has been done weeks and weeks ago, but it's great to have the reinforcement of people that were on this stage. So I'm going to actually customize it in a way that's hopefully going to thread some of this together for you. So we'll start with, this is what the session is about. So this is what's going to be talked about. If you're in the right room, this is where you are. Attract, engage, delight Rockstar employees for your agency. Is our sound okay? Are we feeling good? Yeah, we're sounding good? That's excellent. And my name is Clodagh Higgins, and how you say Clodagh is, it rhymes with Yoda. The GH is just for fun, I think. Usual Irish names, you know. So I'll do a little bit about me. It's, as we know, it isn't about me, but I have worked with over 500 agencies. So I do know a couple of things, and this information is coming from this. I have a podcast called Agency Life, and it's all about the stories of running your agency. And I'd love if anyone would want to share their story, please get in touch with me. I absolutely love interviewing people, especially husband and wife teams. I just find them fascinating. I really enjoy working with them and talking to them. I used to have an agency, but then it was too hard to do the two things. So now I actually have my own real life experience, but I've just focused on coaching, consulting, and training with agency owners. I have a book, and secretly enough, I actually have a world record powerlifter. I represent my country in bench and strict curls. So that's a bit about me. This topic of people is one of my favorite topics. I just absolutely adore it. It is one of the biggest challenges that I get asked for agencies, and the first thing that I tackle is people. And I've been asked over the last few days, going, Clodagh, what's the number one challenge that agency owners have? And I think it's the realization that you, as an entrepreneur, have opened this business. You might have been doing it on your own for a few years. You might have attracted a couple of team members, maybe 4 or 5. But when it starts to get to 8 and 10 people, the dynamics change. It's like you're outnumbered. You've got employees in your business and you're an entrepreneur. And the things that they need and the things that you need are very different. And I feel a lot of tension between agency owners and their employees, only because they haven't figured out how to work together. And when you figure out how to work together, you're going to have a much better business and actually be happier yourself. So that's the number one challenge. I have this massive, jam-packed, really intense agenda for you. It's a story of Jane, and it's a 12-step process. I knew on the last day of this conference, and I've been to many sessions, and I've been sitting in a session, and I've been thinking, oh my God, there's something else going on. When am I going to get the slides? You've had a lot of information to process over the last few days. So the good news is, you can sit back and you can relax. I am going to fill out this 12-step process, step by step. along with the story of Jane, who is a rock star, loosely based on a couple of people that I've met over the past few years. And at the very end, I'll put all the steps up and you can take a photograph. And I'd say pretty much early next week, because I just love doing that. I love to actually get back online and record this deck. So you will just have the deck, and eventually the notes and the speaks will be out. So that's what I thought you'd do. Relax and enjoy, and let's go on a 12-step process. And I've even put really nice, simple cartoons. This is the first time I've ever used anything like this, and I love it. So this is Jane. She is the type of rock star that you want to have in your business. Jane's in a job. She's not looking for work. She has a marketing degree. She found a job as an intern, and she graduated with a small, medium-sized, like pretty small furniture business, and she's in the marketing department. She has been studying online. She's come across things like digital marketer. She's come across things like HubSpot, and she's been upgrading her skills. But when she suggested to her boss that maybe some more digital marketing would be appropriate for her work, her boss kind of said, do you know what? I don't think that's going to work for our industry. So she's now sitting in this business. All the people that she works with are much older than her, and they only socialize at the Christmas party. She'd love to work from home, but her boss won't let her, and then can't give her a really good reason why she can't work from home. So she's got an hour commute to the office and an hour commute home, and it's all starting to wear her down. You know that feeling you're going, what am I doing here? And so she started to have a little look online. She's looking for a new challenge. She's heard about the agency world, and she's going to go off on a journey and start to find and carve out her new job with younger people, with a person who's got a passion for their business, who's doing great things. She's got a bit of a wish list going on. So, first step first, back to you in your agency. This is the first part you need to get. This is your step one. Your agency story, your vision, and your values. You need to go off and actually do the work yourself. Take time out of the office. Ask yourself the question. Document the story. I actually heard from Jeff Hunter yesterday about the importance of why are you in this business? People really want to know, so that you can share that story on a video and online and have it on the front of your website. An example here is of an agency that I work with in South Africa. They've put their whole personality online, and you can actually see the type of people that they're working with. So Jane has gone off and looked online, and she has found your agency. She can see your vision and your values. You have done the work, you've got it all clear, what your personal values are, what the values are of the agency, and they're clear to see. There's a lovely story about your agency, very easy for her to find. She also can see the client's results. You've got interviews with your clients. She can see the work that you're doing, and she's getting a really nice feeling about your agency. Okay? The next thing that she's going to do is she's going to go over to Instagram. And I was actually speaking to a few agency owners yesterday, and some of them were panicking. They were going, oh, my agency doesn't have an Instagram account, after they listened to Jasmine. And that's okay, or is it? If we think of Jane, Jane loves Instagram. She's buying things on Instagram. She posts on Instagram. This is a great way for you to showcase your team, the personalities of your team. So if we look at this as an example from an agency that I work with in the Nordics called Avidly, and you can see here there's a lot of personality in here. They went to Inbound. There was a celebration of flowers and champagne when they acquired another agency. They showcased their team members. So if you're Jane, you're now getting this Instagram feeling representation of your agency that she's getting a nice feeling about, that she feels positive about. She's going to start to look for your Instagram, though, as an agency owner. You might be private, that's totally fine too, or you might have this nice balance of work, conferences, bit of family, bit of your hobbies, you might go hiking, and it's giving her a feeling that you are a person that's balanced, that you're not just all about work. She can get an idea of that. She'll then head over to LinkedIn. What are you talking about over there? She'll then go to YouTube. What's on your YouTube account? and then she'll go to Twitter. So this is very common of the actual rock star mentality of when they're in a job and they've loads of time and they're unchallenged of the lengths they're going to go to. So if you were to ask yourself, if you went on this journey as Jane, how would it actually be for you as a person looking at all the points of your agency? Are they consistent? Are they on brand? Do they have the same colors? Is the information on YouTube like 12 months old and then you haven't posted on Instagram for a while? Or are you talking about work all the time and there's no balance of what the team is like? Are there any team building events? So we'll talk about how to get this happening later on. But this is where she is. She's on a journey. She really does like what she sees. So she's going to go back to your website. And you have now engaged in something called an always hiring approach. So many times I talk to agency owners and the whole process of finding someone, training someone, recruiting someone at the right time, not too early, not too late. It's such a balance. So I'm going to talk to you about actually having an always hiring approach. Here's an example of what that page could look like. You can see now it's the personality of the people. This is obviously impact. So it's work somewhere else, grow at impact. Now instantly she can see, oh, this is interesting. This is something very different. On this page, you will have a video talking more about your team, the people that came in, how long they've been there, their growth, what has happened. And you might get one of the team members to actually record what a great place it is to work. In this page, you will then have a form down the bottom of the page. And again, this is really, really important in time saving. You need to have a form that asks for a resume and a video of why that person would be a good fit to join your agency. Now, the video, you really do need to insist on it. Even if somebody will say, but I'm not customer facing, might be for a web developer, it's still important for everyone to learn how to use video. How can they come across? How can they explain things to clients? How can they explain things to other people in the company? Maybe they're making a training video after hours, and they have to be able to be comfortable on video. And I think we can all agree, you can look at a great resume, but when someone walks through the door, you just know it's not going to be a good fit for your business. And that's a hell of a waste of time. And it's not fair on the other person thriving and coming to you. And it can get very frustrating. So get a video in place. This is a quick example there of one I found online. This girl had done a, hire me, and she was out in her own hometown and just talking about it. And Jane will be really comfortable doing that because she's dying for the opportunity. She's going to make a short video, she's going to send your resume, and then she's going to ask you to interview her. And that's how it's going to run. So if you think it's your role as an agency owner, building this bench, always having people that you're in touch with. Because the rock stars are working, and the rock stars need time to transition from one role to another. It could be a month, it could be 6 weeks, they might like to go on holiday. So even if you find a great person, they might not physically be able to walk in the door for 2 months. And that starts to give you anxiety if you actually need to have somebody urgently. So it's important to build a bench, have coffees with these people, get resumes. I think we talked about the Hollywood project that was discussed the other day with, it was Ryan was talking about building that team of people. Next, we're going to go through an interview process and an interview technique. I just grab a little bit of water here while I've got the time. Oh, that's good. So a group exercise is part of the interview technique, but let me just talk about that. When you're interviewing Jane, what are you looking for? You've seen her resume, you've seen her video, and you now know that she is a good person to have in your agency, and you would like to interview her. You're going to be looking for flexibility. Is she coachable? One of the things I inquire you to do is actually find out, is Jane doing any team sports? Or is she involved in a choir or an orchestra? People who do, or maybe, is she, you can find out things about her family we can't ask directly. Is she an only child? Has she only done individual sports? Does she do competitive things? So you're looking for that little bit of edge. Was she working well in a team? Is she playing basketball? She'll talk about it. How does she feel about it? Does she love working in a team? You're going to need her to come in and work in the team. What are her personal and professional goals? And a big one you've got to ask her is, what is it that she would actually like to achieve and want to be in the future? Like, you've got to get that out of her personally and professionally. And another one to listen for is, who does she watch? Who does she listen to? What is she reading and listening to on podcasts? What books is she reading? What blogs does she read? What are her inputs coming into her head so that you know what she's actually processing on? And she'll tell you, oh, I've been reading about Digital Marketer and I've done some of their courses. So you're going to get an understanding that somebody is furthering their career. The group exercise part, this is Jane showing her personality. What you would do is, it's a bit of a surprise, and it can be risky. If you find 3 or 4 Janes, you will book them in to come in at maybe 2 o'clock on a Tuesday and tell them that it needs 3 hours. So you might get 4 people coming in, and surprise, you'll ask them to do a group exercise. Prepare a campaign for your agency and leave them in a room for 45 minutes. You are going to then see who is the leader, who will present, who naturally stands out on this. You will also give them the element of surprise. How do people cope with change? Because I think we all know in our agency a lot of changes can come up out of nowhere. And it's their ability to handle that. So you can plan it really well, have a group exercise, get them to do a presentation for you, and see the dynamics of them working together. It works really, really powerfully. Then you can ask them to do the individual interviews directly after that. In the individual, you are actually going to be looking for values, because you've done all your work on your personal values and the values of your agency. You will now have those values, I hope, up on the wall of your agency. Here's an example of an agency that I work with in the UK, Hoxo Media. And they went off and did the work about their values, and then they put it up on the wall. And when you walk into their office, everyone in the morning is reminded why they're there. It's fantastic. If they have to make decisions and the owners aren't around, they can look up on the wall and going, well, how is this going to help me make a decision? It is such a good thing to have. They're in the middle of putting it up there. That's why it looks a bit messy. They had a graphic designer come in and do it. So if we took this as an example, you would ask Jane, can you give me an example of when you left it all on the field in your role? Can you give me an example of you being obsessed with results? You can actually go through those values that you've written about yourself, you've done the work, and go through it one by one with her. Really powerful. This has actually worked for Hoxo when a client came to visit them, a prospect actually, and they turned into a client. They walked in the door, they looked at it, they had a great meeting already, and they looked at it and went, gee, this is a company I definitely want to work with. So a really, really powerful thing to do. Next is Jane has moved through. You feel she's good, she's got the skills, she's interviewed well, she's done a great group exercise, her values are aligned. Now it's time to make sure you get the team involved. You've created a great team, she has to fit in, and you have to ask them as well. So here she is showing her personality, because each of the team members, it can be quick, it could be a quick speed round, it can be a coffee. It might not be everyone. It could be a remote worker doing a Zoom call. But you have to get her in front of everyone in your team to see if she's a good fit. And then off Jane goes home, and you sit down with your team and you ask them, do you think she is a good fit for your agency? And it goes like this. If it's not a hell yes, I'm hearing some laughers over here. It is no. You have worked too hard to have a great agency culture, to have that, I'm sure we can iron this out. You can improve her training skills. She might have gaps in particular training, in skills. It could be anything like that. But if it comes to her flexibility and her coachability, that's what you need. So don't look at the resume so much as the culture fit is really, really important. I see the seconds flying down there, but we're on track. I could talk about this for the whole day, but I know they will drag me off stage. Are we enjoying this? Is this what you... Thank you. Yeah, let's... Good. We're halfway through. We're Love you guys. Oh, but I feel like one of those politicians. You know the way they do that? Going, yeah. Thanks. Okay, so now, preparation. See this all the time in agencies. You hire Jane, you give her an offer letter. Off she goes, she's pure excited. She hands in her notice, she's got a month. You go back to running your agency, and the week before she arrives, maybe the Friday before the Monday, there's panic stations. Oh, Jane's coming on Monday. Half the office is off. You didn't get a desk organised. You forgot to go to Apple Store and get a new Mac. It's all a bit of panic. And I see someone nodding and smiling over there. It's okay. We've all done it. It's a safe space to feel this. No judgment. So the important thing here to do now is that energy. There's nothing worse than arriving in and not being wanted, right? You know that feeling. We've all been there. What happened there? There. Now, this is a very lavish example of a welcome pack because it's from the company and what I used to work with in HubSpot. So it doesn't have to be this, but a small bunch of flowers, a balloon, a welcome. The week before in your calendar, plan. Tell the team. Make sure the team meeting is on that particular Monday. Make sure everyone is welcome and ready to meet and greet. And that is going to be the biggest and longest part of the training is the first day. And can you imagine walking in, everything's sorted, you're already a bit nervous. Did she do the right thing? Should she stay in the furniture company? This is a bit risky. And this is going to make her feel so much better. First impressions, the first few days, it's just vital. Small things, swag, t-shirts, it really doesn't matter. Make sure she has a buddy or a mentor. This is another thing. I actually was at a conference, I went to Impact Live a few weeks ago in Connecticut, and I met an agency owner who was really, really exhausted with the recruitment process, and he was saying that he needed to hire 2 more people, and I could just see it, and he was like, oh, I just don't want to do it. It's so time-consuming. Training them and taking time out. And I was like, yeah, it can be if you don't have a process. And I'm going to show you how to make that really quick. But the thing you've got to do is get Jane to own her process. You hook her up with a buddy to actually, or a mentor to keep the day-to-day going. She shouldn't be interrupting you every 5 minutes. That's what she's the owner of it. So she's going to own the process. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I just remembered. She's leaving her job, right? You have a calendar, and I'm going to show you what that looks like now. You have an idea of what she's going to be doing. Maybe HubSpot certifications, DM certifications, Infusionsoft, whatever software. So she knows that she's got this. You can give her the training calendar in advance. And sure, what's Jane doing? She's sitting in a job, working out her notice, probably getting less and less work from her employer because they know she's going. They could be putting her on gardening leave because they went, well, you're going, we don't need you here anymore, but you can't go to work yet. So she's excited, enthusiastic, and she wants to make a good first impression with you. So while she is not even in your agency, she can be upskilling herself. I call it pre-boarding, the little made-up title that I did. And it's important to take that opportunity. She could be in the evenings, doing her HubSpot certifications and staying in touch with you, going, hey, I did that. And you can see that she's using that energy and channeling that energy in a positive way. And now you're onboarding. This is a very, very small section of a 90-day onboarding plan and a template, and I have it, and if anyone wants to grab it from me, you can just drop me a line, clodagh@growagroup.com. I'm quite prepared to be inundated because I have it in my folders. But if we walk through this, right, Jane has come into the business, everyone's prepared, everyone knows. There's a big welcome. You take the time out, you book that morning off, and you just walk her through, introduce, here's her desk, here's her welcome pack. You could have the Monday morning status meeting. Then it's lunch. Then you will sit and do an introduction to the company. And then in the afternoon, off she goes. Day 2, she's going to walk through your agency playbook. Day 3, there's an introduction to the tasks she's going to work on. So you can see here, you plan this all out, right? All the training's online, everything that she needs to do, you can actually build this. We've built this training plan, this actual onboarding into Praxio, and I highly recommend using that tool. And so now what happens is Jane comes in, she's had the first few hours on Monday, and after that, it's over to her. She's the owner of this. She writes down and takes a Google document, and she's going to write down any questions at the end of the day that she would like to ask you. If there's something stopping her in the middle of the day, moving on to the next section, she's got a buddy and a mentor. So what happens now? You have all this time. You could hire 4 people at the same time, and your first biggest day is the first day. That's your time investment. You automate this. You use all the tools. You might take, the week before, do some videos yourself and put them into Praxio. Now, all of a sudden, she's the owner of this. She books the meetings with the head of sales. She books her one-on-one meeting. She talks about it, owns her training and development. She's the owner of it. And you're going to see very quickly if she is taking ownership of this opportunity. You can bring a horse to water and all that. So it is very important for her to own it. And very quickly, within a week, you're going to spot, is she falling behind? What's happening? Is it overwhelming? Or is she really taking ownership of it? The next one is about your culture. Culture, I hear it thrown around an awful lot, and it's a bit like it's a team building event. A culture code is a very, very different thing. Now, this is something you're going to have to invest the time. It can take a few months to sort this out in your agency, but having this and having that up online and knowing about it is very, very important. And Jane is attracted to your business because of your culture code. So I'll actually show you an example of a code of an agency that I work with in the Nordics and why it's different from a team night out. Every day we focus on our values. Our individual personalities are allowed to shine. We know our company communications, our guidelines, our policies, our procedures, the perks and benefits and career plans. All of this information needs to be documented and in a place where any employee at any time can see what their benefits are and what's going on. You would organize a culture committee. You're going to give them a bit of a budget, and you're going to say, once a month, plan the activities for the next month, 90 days, whichever way you want to run it. What events are coming up? Is there, Cinco de Mayo? Is there a public holiday? Is there a team build? Is it end of month? Have you gone over your targets and you want to celebrate? Whose birthday is coming up? It's such a small thing, a cupcake and a candle on the day of somebody's birthday. It's inexpensive and it is really, really meaningful. It's so important to have these things mapped out. In a bigger agency, it can get a bit out of control. So organize, if there's 3 birthdays in a week, you might get a big cake and celebrate in the middle of the week or something, but acknowledge that it is somebody's birthday. Then you're going to take all these activities, and where are we going to put them? On social media, on Instagram, in between the results you're getting for your clients, those basic questions that you've been asked, shown by Jasmine yesterday, and you're going to put your team building. So that the next rock star who's out there looking for his or her next role is going to see your Instagram and go, God, they celebrate birthdays. They have team night out. They have great results for their clients. I really like this. So the culture committee is a very important part of you and your referral network and your recruitment. And then there will be an owner of that. They can share ideas and highlights with you as the owner and show the return on investment. The number that you're going to measure here would be measured using either Office Vibe, which is a tool you can use to measure team happiness, or Tiny Pulse. And you would send out a questionnaire to the team. How happy are you? What do you want to work on? Do you need a hand with anything? And it will actually give you a score. It's anonymous, but you can give a temperature check of how happy the business is. That is how you do culture in an agency. It is not one thing, one cupcake, one birthday. It actually is a lot of planning and organization. Now, the great news is, you do this, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than hiring a recruitment company for your agency, which we all know can be very difficult to explain to a recruitment company your values, all the things I've just talked about there, and it can be difficult for them to find candidates. So that's the good thing is, even if you invested what you would spend, $5,000 maybe on a recruitment company, you could put that towards the budget of your culture committee, and you will see way more benefits than actually working one-on-one, okay? So something to think about. We will have time for questions, I think. This is unusual for me. So we're actually in progress. If there's any questions coming up to your head, I have been told I'm allowed to make room for questions. So if DJ Sammy is hanging around the back, oh no, I see a microphone here. I won't be left alone. Oh, the final one on this part too. Oh, it is up on the screen. I walk into a lot of agencies, and it can be easy to just leave the decor the way it is. Having a feel, like a homely feel for your agency by letting your staff actually decorate it is a very powerful thing to do. Like you saw the values up on the wall in the Hoxo business, you would actually see a big difference in people's feeling and attachment. An indicator I know always when I'm walking into agencies, if the culture is off, the office is messy. People don't clean up after themselves. Treated like a hotel. It's not that they're young. It's not that they live at home. It's that they don't care. Because they don't feel connected to the place. So give them a bit of budget, off to IKEA, get some fake plants, or real ones if they can keep them alive. I struggle with that myself. And let them decorate the office so they feel like it's theirs. And you will see a huge difference in how they keep it tidy, rosters, chores, all of a sudden things get done. So if you're walking in the morning and the office is messy and there's coffee cups and stains, it's not those kids. Your culture's off. It's time to fix it. Might be a hard truth there, but that's how I punch them. Cool. I see you standing ready for questions, so perfect. Let me just do the two more things. Are you okay to stand, or you're all right for the minute? Oh, sorry, I meant in a couple more sections. Is that okay? Yep. And then you can stand. We will do them in just two more sections. But I just wanted to acknowledge that we do have time. So the next part here you're going to need, Jane has wanted to work with you because she can see a career path and a plan. So you have to build this for her. Again, a very busy slide here, but I have got a template for this as well. We help agencies build centers of excellence. So if Jane's coming into your business, there's either two things that she wants to do. She wants to be a deep expert in digital marketing, SEO, web design, whatever you hired her for, or she has aspirations of moving into management. She'd like to be a team leader. She'd like to be a manager in the business. She'd like to be a director. She needs to own which way she's going to go, and she might not know it for the first year, but you need to get on your team an analysis of where they are in leadership, what's their marketing skills. They rate themselves, and then you sit with them and talk about the rating. Is the rating right? Is a 5, are they an expert, a good representation of the work that they do, or are they a 3 and they have a lot of work to do? A really, really simple and powerful tool. Now they have something to focus on every single quarter. Which HubSpot certifications are they going to do? What track are they going to do in the digital marketer training? Again, you're back to Praxio. So now they're owning it. You're not hounding them. You're going, oh, why aren't you doing your certifications? They know if they do the certifications, they have the chance to be promoted, which is the next thing that you need to build. And this, anyone who knows me, I do not work for the entrepreneurial operating system, but I'm a huge, huge advocate of the book Traction by Gino Wickman, the EOS model, the entrepreneurial operating system, for getting systems and procedures, that's the track for today, into your agency. You would build a much bigger version of this, but this is the core of it. You are the visionary, but you need somebody to implement the things in your business. You're the ideas person, but you need someone to actually take and systemize it. In the beginning, yes, you are doing sales and marketing. Yes, you are doing operations. Yes, you are doing finance. But in the future, you will let those go as you get bigger and as your team comes in. And Jane can see, oh, over the last few years, I've really enjoyed the HR side of things, or I like the operations. Maybe I'll be the head of operations for the agency. But she can see a path and she knows how to get there. And that comes to the final part of how delighted Jane is and how she becomes a referral. And that's the slide you can take a photograph of now. And then I'll move on to the last one. If you want to do that, I'll take a water and then I can take some questions after that. I've got one more slide. Oh, thanks, DJ Sammy. You're taking a picture as well. I love it. Caught. Brilliant. So, delight and referrals. Let's go back. Where's Jane now? She is sitting in your agency. She's got her plant because you let them have some office decor. So she's feeling happy. She loves working for your agency. She's so happy, she's telling her friends and family. Her family can see that she's happy. Her friends can see that she's happy. And they ask her, why are you so happy? Oh, I'm working for this great agency. They've got value and vision. And the owner, they let us decorate. We have a culture committee. See how the story's coming? You organise one family and friends night. Boom, there's your recruitment for the next year, right? Jane's going to be on social media talking about a great week she had. So this is all extremely important. Today, the employees want to belong. They want to feel connected. Now, I was at Bob Ruffalo's talk yesterday, and he was talking about, firing fast. And I just want to bring this in here, that maybe Jane didn't work out, but you always hire with a 90-day probation. I'm not sure of the US laws, but we can definitely do that in Europe. It is stated in our contract, you have 90 days. I've given you a training plan. You need to complete the training plan. These are your numbers. These are the goals. There are things that she needs to achieve in 90 days. And if she's not achieving them, that's your out. Most agency owners that I've talked to say one of their regrets is that they kept people on too long, giving them a chance. Release them, as Bob said yesterday. Let them go so they can go and be really, really happy somewhere else. So that's what you're going to do, and that is the whole process. And I will say thank you, and I will take a question down here. Thank you so much. Let's go. Oh, there was a few questions. I'm putting myself on the spot. We have 6 minutes before
so
is that okay?
So here's the rule. No Gary Vee questions, which weren't questions. So just like real quick questions that go back, and then we'll get through as many people as we can.
Is that okay?
You did a great job. Can we do one more round of applause for Clodagh, please?
Is that
You're
okay?
so wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, and we'll start over here.
All right, Clodagh, I've been following you for a while. It's great to see you live.
Oh, thank you so much.
I've been meaning to reach out and ask you this question, but I have a podcast for agency owners, help them run more profitably, and I'd love to have you come and share what you just shared with more people on the show.
It'd be my pleasure under one condition.
Yes.
You're on mine.
Sure. Let's do it.
Thank you so much. Anyone that wants to. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Excellent. I'll follow up. So my question for you is a little bit more on actually what you just talked about. Strategies for making sure that when somebody is exiting your business, making sure that things don't get dropped, especially in those positions that are kind of high linchpin, high dependency for clients, deliverables, things like that. How do you think about that process?
Yeah, so an agency playbook, a documented process, again, you can build it all out in Praxio, is a really good place to start. And part of that will be handovers between account managers. I think as the owner, it's a very important role to get in there straight away with the client, get in and explain what's the change about. Are you happy with it? Did something go wrong? Or is it okay? It's just a normal transition. But I would probably take that client out for a lunch to just smooth things out while a documented process is going on in the background, handing over from one to the other and bringing the customer in on that as well.
Awesome.
And just relaxing them, going, everything's going to be okay. That's all they need. They just need to know that you're not worried. It's all okay, and you have a process. And is there anything else you can do with them? You could end up getting more business from it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. Thanks so much. How do these processes work for a distributed workforce?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. With things like the office decor, you would actually get something like a mascot. Maybe it's a teddy bear, or it's a squirrel, or something that is in the office that you could actually send them a gift. You can do the pre-boarding gifts. You can using Zoom as a tool to get them involved. Pretty much all of that process is going to be easy enough to actually distribute out with a remote workforce. Maybe printing the values and putting it in a frame and sending it to them. Right, so anything that you can think in the office, making it smaller and connecting them out to your office. So when they're on the screen with Zoom, they've got the values and the mascot or something, or a plant, and it bonds them with your agency, the headquarters.
Great, thank you.
Does that help? Thank you, you're welcome. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, wait, actually, we're going to switch back and forth.
go over there.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Hi, Samantha, how are you?
Doing great.
Good.
2 quick questions. One, for the video that you require them to send, do you do that in lieu of a cover letter, or do you do the cover letter as well?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not a big on a cover letter. I don't think I've ever read one or
Right.
written one. I think the most important thing is the resume and the personality. You're going to
Makes
know in
perfect
2 seconds how that person's energy is coming through on that screen, if they put any thought and effort into it.
My thoughts exactly. And 2, we have some seasonal employees on our experiential side that I think would be very good either digitally or in sales, but I haven't pitched that to our CEO yet. How would you adapt the interview process for people who have been in the organization for a while that you don't want to lose them, but you want to see if they're different see if they could be good in a very, very different role?
That centre of excellence, get them to evaluate where they're at, get examples of their work, and ask them where do they see themselves in the future, and what are they doing to prepare themselves for that? What's their plan to get there?
Right, great.
Cool, thank you.
The group exercise, step 4. Can you talk a little bit more about, that's part of the interview process, right?
Correct,
That's pre-hire.
yes.
So what are some examples of how you've actually run those group exercises to make them work really well? Because I can see they might fall flat if you don't
That's what I was
run it
saying.
right.
Yeah, so imagine you have 4 potential candidates. You invite them in at 2 o'clock and you tell them you need them until 5 o'clock. So you're going to give them, you need to prepare them that you need them for 3 hours. And that's it. You're looking for the element of surprise. And then you're going, welcome, they're going to be in the waiting room or in your lobby or in your foyer, and you're going, welcome. And the great news is I have a project for you. Straight away, you're going to see someone like bristling, someone actually losing it. Well, what are they going to do in your agency? There isn't one straight day in your agency, is there? So that's what you're looking for, someone who's got a bit spooked. But then you'll see someone who'll step up and go, oh, that's great. Oh, I know how to do that. Put them in a room with a whiteboard, let them crack on and go, present to me how I should do a new digital strategy for my own agency. You can make up anything.
Okay, great.
How
Thank
does
you.
that sound? And
That's
they
great.
let them sort out, 45 minutes, let them sort out the dynamics. It'll be uncomfortable, but like running an agency. Michael, hi, good to see you again.
Hi,
How
good
are
to see you too. Thank you for, it was great meeting you yesterday.
Yeah, I know, Bob made that happen. He's so good to me.
I've already started reading your book. I'm interested about this 12-step process, as you know, trying to work on employee number 1 right now and not having a buddy system or anything like that. So the first time I'm starting this out, do I work on all 12 steps a little by little? Do I focus on one and then start to build up as I'm bringing more of an organization?
Yeah, the culture code could probably wait until you have like 4 or 5 people. So I would look at just, having an always hiring approach would be the first start, and eventually build it as you get bigger. You'll have more people in the business to help you figure it out. We are 10 seconds. Are we okay?
Yeah, grab a couple more.
But I'm also, if there is more, I'm going to hang around. And
Is that okay? You want to be by
I
over
will
here?
definitely do that as well. I want to keep you on track because you've been amazing.
Oh, no,
this is
stop.
so well organized. Okay?
If I could blush, I would, but I can't. So why don't we do the next 2 questions just at the microphone, and then the other folks will meet over here.
Thank you
again.
for giving me that. That's great.
I'll be
Brilliant.
pretty quick. I really enjoyed your talk.
Thank you.
Yeah. So quickly, when we start hiring more candidates, something that we notice is the existing employees become a little bit insecure. They think, what's going on? Like, the more candidate, do I still get the attention as I used to get before? how do you think you handle? You still know these guys who stay with us are very important for the business,
Right?
But at the same time, it's important to hire new people as well, especially in sales and account management.
Yeah.
It's a balance of having everyone happy at the same time.
Right, the existing people right. So that's why I'm talking about the team interviewing them. So the team, make sure that if a new person comes in, maybe if it's a large team, you might pick 4 or 5 people who are going to do the check. Are they a fit? Now they've agreed. Now they've bought into this. So they've acknowledged that they're a good fit. The other thing I highly recommend, if at all possible, hire in pairs. Mm-hmm. Because those people look after each other, they kind of buddy up, they go for lunch, and then they slowly get integrated into the group. That could be another thing. They might, compete against each other and go, oh, I did my certification, oh, I did mine. They kind of look after each other.
Because majority of the times, the existing employee thinks the new person is a competitor.
That's right, yeah.
Which need not be the case a lot of times.
No, and that's it. But again, step 1, your vision. Your values. What are you building? Why you need more people? That's what you've got to get right. So then they're all on board, and then they know why 2 new people are coming in.
All right.
Okay, cool, thank you. And then one more, and I'm going to stand down here because we have a 15-minute break in between. Thank you.
Hi, great talk, by the way. I'm Ronnie,
so much.
And we basically do virtual conferences for our clients. And I'm kind of at the role where I'm the integrator, but also doing operations and leading the account management training.
God love you.
So, so do you have like an 80-20 of what I should be focusing on to just allow things to seamlessly transition for the handoffs?
Yeah. So right now, if you do the first thing, which is you are the visionary, and step 1, if you get that all clear, your vision, your goal, and all the roles that you're doing, you will naturally decide, I really need to let go of this sales role. I need to hire a salesperson. I need to get a part-time bookkeeper in. It doesn't have to be a full-time role. You can have a part-time operations manager come in. Somebody, an expert, a consultant for 1 day a month. You can slowly bleed these roles into your business. Does that help?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm
No
just
problem.
stand
Huge round of applause. Go to Higgins, everybody. Thank you.